It's that time of year that I can justify a Saturday night live stream. We're working 7 days a week, baby. It's January, and the postseason is right on the horizon with a win, and that's what the Ravens have to do to keep their season alive tomorrow night in Pittsburgh. And with that, welcome inside the channel. I'm Bobby Trosset. If you could, on the way in, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I thought I was having a chill, rainy Saturday here in the Tampa area. For those of you watching today's regular season finale between the Bucs and Panthers, that's a good indication in terms of what's going on weather-wise outside my window here. I'm in St. Pete, and Tampa, right around the corner, is playing this game in sloppy conditions, to say the very least. And that obviously is going to decide the division and decide ultimately a postseason berth for these two teams. So I think there's a little bit of help that's needed if Tampa wins. I haven't been following that as closely as I should because we've been locked in on Ravens coverage and locked in on some surprising news that just dropped within the last hour or so regarding Ravens wide receiver Rashad Bateman. And as yesterday's injury report indicated, he was listed as questionable in terms of his game status designation for this winner-take-all opportunity that's presented to the Ravens, thanks to Cleveland, thanks to what Baltimore did Saturday in Green Bay. And he was listed with an illness, as was Marlon Humphrey. When John Harbaugh was asked about this at his press conference yesterday, he was optimistic that both would play. But we just learned, again, a short while ago, that Rashad Bateman has been downgraded to out. He has not traveled to Pittsburgh with the team. Taven Bryan was not activated from injured reserve. He has been downgraded to out, as he has been for the better half of 2 months at this point, a defensive tackle who was actually pretty good against the run earlier this season. But the highlight here is that Rashad Bateman will not go for the Ravens in this gotta-have-it game. As a result, they've activated Keith Kirkwood, veteran wide receiver from the practice squad, and Amani Oruwariye. He is a second standard practice squad game day elevation at the defensive back position. So bottom line is Ravens are going to be without, I would say, one of their top pass catchers. But unfortunately, this season, it has been anything but that for Bateman, who, of course, was extended in the offseason and has really struggled this year. Has struggled statistically, has struggled physically, and really across the board. It's been a disappointing season for number 7. I don't think there's any way around that. Just 19 catches, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns. And as Ravens Nation Live concludes, and I certainly co-sign, not the season that anyone was expecting out of him. Rashad had a phenomenal year last year for the Ravens in the red zone as a reliable pass catcher, as a vertical threat, as an across-the-middle type guy, as a slant guy. And this season, a lot of which has to do with, of course, the high ankle sprain that he sustained, weeks ago that forced him out of multiple games. A lot of it has to do with the physical setbacks, but really that singular setback due to the high ankle sprain that he's clearly playing through. And now, obviously, on top of that, the illness, which could very well be the flu, working its way through the Ravens locker room. It's fresh in my mind that the flu is nothing to joke around with. I got my ass kicked over really all throughout the Christmas season. I think really until about 48 hours ago, I was down and out, man. It was at least 10 days. So if this is something flu-like and this is something that's ballooned on him to the point where he's not even traveling with the team, I do wish him well. Absolutely. Obviously, this comes with a level of disappointment, knowing that it's been a disappointing season for Rashad. But again, if he's dealing with the flu and he's down and out, I wish him well regardless of what he's dealing with. So, look, they signed him to a 3-year contract extension in June. This was sort of a do right by the player, right? Because the previous offseason going into the 2024 season, they signed him to a really modest deal. And then he broke out like I think we were all expecting him to well earlier in his career that never came. In 2024, he finished with 45 receptions for 756 yards receiving and 9 touchdowns. 9. He had 4 his previous 3 seasons combined. And so again, this year, 13 games, 12 of which have been starts, just 19 receptions, 224 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns. He's missed a lot of time, and now he is missing the most important game of the season with an illness. He did not travel. Marlon Humphrey should be good to go. Now, he's still listed as questionable, according to the Ravens injury report, with an illness, but he's traveled. And I get the sense that the longest tenured defensive Raven will find a way to play. I'd have to think, just assuming, it's an assumption here, that his illness is less intense, less derailing than Rashad's. And if that's the case, they're going to need the Marlon Humphrey that we've seen in turnover form this year to show up, because in coverage, much like we saw on that opening drive the first time these two teams met in December in Baltimore, he really struggled with DK Metcalf. Now, again, that might be the type of play that you just tip your cap. It's better offense, decent defense, better offense, but we've seen it more and more from Marlon in coverage this year that it's been a forgettable year for him. It was a forgettable game in Green Bay for Nate Wiggins. And this secondary, whether it's been Alohi Gilman in space with not as much polish as needed when it comes to wrapping guys up and taking the right pursuit angles and finishing tackles, this has been a secondary that, from a technique standpoint, as John Harbaugh and Zach Orr put it within the last week or so, has not met the mark. So, again, Rashad Bateman is down for the Ravens. That's the breaking news. We already know. I've shared this a couple times, and I won't belabor the point, but drops have been an issue for this team this year. 9.2% is the NFL drop percentage. That's second to last. They're the second worst drop percentage team across the league. Only ahead of Chicago at 11.2% are the Bears. So, again, whether it's been Lamar, Tyler Huntley, Cooper Rush, and Rashad Bateman obviously is he's included. I remember what happened the first time these two teams met on that 3rd and 4 situation where Lamar hit him in his hands and just an inexplicable drop with only one man to beat to the end zone for Rashad Bateman. A key moment there in what helped decide. There was a lot of things that helped decide that Week 14 decision, 27-22, that went in Pittsburgh's favor. But that certainly was one that which Rashad would want back. And so, again, what's next? What's next? I'm sure some of you out there in the live chat, the waiting room that's starting to open, we will open up the guest lines in just a bit here, a second, so I can get your thoughts on what we now know is official, that Rashad Bateman, if you're just tuning in, will not play. Did not travel with the team to Pittsburgh. So what's next? Who's it going to be? DeAndre Hopkins is 33 years old. He is not under contract in Baltimore for the 2026 season, so he will hit the open market again. Would the Ravens bring him back as like a sort of latter part of free agency move to help bolster their wide receiver room? I think D-Hop's been fantastic this year in a really small sample size. And I'm not saying I expected anything more or less. Right around where he is what I was thinking. If you go back to the prediction episodes in the summer, I'm sure Sarah and I weren't that far off. Right now, going into this final frame, he has 330 yards receiving. He's been targeted 37 times. He's caught 22 of those footballs, and he's got 2 touchdowns. Could they lean on DeAndre more? I'm not saying that they're going to give him 10 targets, but is he deserving of a couple more? Just a few weeks ago, John Harbaugh said this about Hop.
DeAndre Moore, he got a couple throws. It just kind of sometimes it's just the way the game goes a little bit. But, he's not out there all the time. He's not. I don't think he's at the stage of his career where he's going to play every play. So when he's out there, you really want to. And we've talked a lot about this, trying to be intentional about him being out there for specific purposes and to do the things that he does well, which we all kind of know what those things are. So I will say that, if you go back and you watch the game, you're going to see him playing his tail off. I mean, He's running routes. He's fighting to get open. He's blocking. He's competing. He's doing everything he can. And that's what I admire about him and love about him. He's just become one of my favorite players ever, and we are gonna be friends for a long time, and he and I have had a lot of these conversations. But yes, this next game and these next 4 games and into the playoffs, let's get him involved more. We really need to try to do that. We have been trying to do it. We can do it. It hasn't fallen for us, but I still believe he's going to make plays for us that are going to matter.
Look, I'm not expecting him to get this heavy workload of targets, but I think what we can all agree on when it comes to DeAndre Hopkins, who is the active leader in receiving yards. No active player in today's NFL has more receiving yards career-wise than DeAndre Hopkins. And at 33 years young, still a technician, still a 50-50 ball winner, still a reliable pair of hands. And this year, while yes, it's been a small sample size, does it not feel like 80-90% of his catches have been significant in those specific situations that they've been caught? I'm talking about third down situations. I'm talking about red zone situations. I'm talking about gotta have it situations. He's been so technical on the sidelines. He's been so technical the way that he maneuvers and manipulates defensive backs at the catch point. He's got body control that looks like a 23-year-old out there. He's still playing at a really high level. I would love to see them and Lamar get him involved early in this game. That Zay Flowers is going to be out there making plays. Now, granted, Chef Trez, where are you at? Get the bulletin board ready. Get it ready. I'm old enough to remember this from a Patriots linebacker in his post-game press conference a couple weeks ago.
They had a couple of speed skaters on their side of the ball. Ball getting a little loose from their body. So, obviously, that's the time to make a play and see ball get ball.
So did you kind of live up to your name, chasing after that?
I see what you did. That was cool. But no, it's in those moments right there, man. And we hustling, and obviously every play of the game, you want to hustle and get to the ball for sure. But you got to find the extra effort. You got to find the extra will to make that play for your team. So I'm excited to have that opportunity for sure.
Yeah, the speed skaters. What does that mean?
Like I said, just the ball get a bit loose from the body. So if you ever watch the speed skater roll, how they kind of move in their body figure, it's kind of how a couple of their ball carriers move with the ball. So we already knew that was going in. A couple of their guys put it on film already, so it was going out there and make that play.
We saw you guys out in practice working on the ball security drills, punching in and out. Did you do more of those throughout the week this week?
It was a heavy emphasis for sure. I think we emphasized turnovers just heavy throughout our game plan in general. But it was an emphasis this week. Like I said, they had a couple ball carriers that with the ball get pretty loose from their body. So we got some balls out today, and that was pretty dope.
Chase on from a couple weeks ago post-game referring to Zay without by name, but referring to the Ravens as speed skaters. Their ball carriers as speed skaters, meaning they're loose with it. They're not reliable. They go east to west rather than north to south. We all know speed skating. Matter of fact, I enjoy speed skating as a venue in the Winter Olympics, which is coming up, by the way, next month. Anybody care? No, you think all you're worried about, I get it, as you should be, is a singular game that's played in the month of February in the National Football League. Perhaps the Ravens will have a chance to represent the AFC conference, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. Point is, Zay Flowers is going to be out there making plays. But gosh darn it, if he's referred to as a speed skater after the game, based on whatever happens in this high leverage moment, I'm going to be at a loss for words. Clearly, you saw it based on some of the beat reporters' tweets at the media portion viewing of practices this week. They were doing drills and very intentional and mindful this week with ball security in mind. TJ Watt will play, and he will be hunting for the football. Steelers defenders will be hunting for the football because the Ravens have a reputation. What the Ravens have put out on tape as ball carriers has allowed for defenders to clearly look, they know it's open season. And so always when you're a defender, I'm not going to single out the Ravens in this case. Every defender is ball hungry. Every defender is hunting down the football. But when you develop a reputation in high leverage moments, just in straight up games in general over the years, it's on full display for the NFL world to see. And so first and foremost, because these games are always, if not every game, is decided by one score or less, my God, there has to be a major precedent put on ball security first and foremost. And we can get to the other nuance as we get there when it comes to Ravens Steelers and what will be ever important in trying to decide this game and being on the victorious side of it. One of the best storied rivalries that you'll see for all the marbles coming up tomorrow night. It's 8:20, an 8:20 kickoff. There's going to be a lot of these probably. Dre Dog, look away. There's probably going to be a lot of these leading up to kickoff tomorrow because I'm bringing my ass to an 8 a.m. I'm going to do an 8 a.m. at Sweat, this new gym that I joined. I got a gym crush for the ages. The eye contact's been through the roof. We've got several interactions mid-class over the last several weeks, and I've just been given some intel from a good source that she is recently single. So hold up, Tiger. Back up now. Take it easy. And as I'm not going to go in for the kill shot here, but very encouraging, very compelling, because I think that's my future wife at my gym class. Then again, when you live in St. Petersburg, any given block, you could see your future wife, and it feels very validating to have moved here. That's neither here nor there. Let's get to the guest lines. I appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. Obviously, I'm not live all that often on a Saturday, but I think you know why. It's do or die tomorrow. It's essentially a postseason game. The AFC North is up for the grabs. For the third consecutive year, the Ravens can take the division. They can clinch a playoff berth and the number 4 seed and host a home wild card playoff game the following weekend. They can also obviously send their bitter rival home. All that and more is what's on the line tomorrow night. And Trey from Columbus, what's going on, Trey? It's good to see you, brother. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. How you been, Bobby?
I'm fantastic. I'm watching in the distance here the Bucks-Panthers game, which is right down the road. Got a nap in today. Got a good workout in. Yes, there were plenty of interactions this morning with said future Mrs. Trosset. But again, we're just gonna, for once I better be tight-lipped and not share anything in the Bobby After Dark Discord. Not say anything from this point forward. My dumbass will, but I can just try to tell myself that I'll turn over a new leaf in 2026. So let's just stick to football before I get throw up of the mouth and ask you what your feeling is about a player that's obviously been disappointing this year. A lot of that has to do with the availability or lack thereof. Rashad, I think it's pretty safe to say that he's been dealing with a high ankle sprain and playing through the aftermath of what tends to linger. By the way, this has nothing to do. Tomorrow has nothing to do with that. It's an illness. Bateman won't go. What, if anything, are you feeling going into Sunday night as a result?
Bateman himself, really quick on him. I wish I could comment more on him this year because it's kind of like years past with him going through that little phase of injuries, and there's nothing much that you could do about it. It's just something that he's just facing again, and you really can't do nothing about it. But it shows productivity for him. This is like availability is the main ability. Yeah. How that goes. But
the best ability is availability, and unfortunately for Rashad, this year has not been a calling card of his. Not. And really, if you think about it over his career, gosh, his rookie season was derailed due to injury. His sophomore season had injuries. It wasn't until last year where Rashad stacked a full – in 2020, the AFC Championship year, he was pretty healthy, but they had OBJ, and he didn't get as many targets as maybe he deserved that year. But 2024 – I think everybody was thinking that, wow, this is the player. This is who they spent a first-round draft pick on. This is the type of guy in the red zone that can really send this offense, send this team to the next level. And unfortunately, whether it was his quarterbacks, meaning his quarterback being injured at times this year, he goes down, and it just started to snowball. The offense was really struggling. The passing game has been totally night and day. Compared to past years. And all of a sudden, it's a snowball effect and a perfect storm and a really disappointing season to boot.
I agree. And that's one thing about Bateman. I mean, he's so reliable when he was in his peak of just being on a streak of being consistent. That's when you wanted to see. That's what everybody expected out of Bateman. And then 2024, I mean, minus that miscommunication with Lamar and him on that one interception. That game, Buffalo game, he looked pretty great. I mean, he scored a touchdown. I mean, the drive when he scored a touchdown, it was so prime for him that I'm like, oh, he's coming in clutch. He's showing up when you need him. So I'm like, all right, this is going to be the bait we're going to have going forward. And then that's why he got the extension, minus the miscommunication with him and Lamar. I mean, I feel like he showed up in the playoffs in that game, and just as much as they likely did, too, in the playoffs. But that's not here or there. I don't want to even go into that situation. Yeah. But it's just clutch. The clutch factor shows up when you need it to show up. But
dude, that's a good reminder, though. I'm actually glad you just brought that up, because everybody, deservedly so, remembers what didn't happen in the Bills game in the divisional round, right? What Mark Andrews didn't do, what Mark Andrews didn't do earlier in the game in terms of protecting the football, what Lamar didn't do, well enough in the first half in terms of protecting the football, right? And you can go on and on and on. But when you go back and look at that game a little bit deeper, to your point, likely finishes with 4 receptions on 5 targets for 73 yards and a touchdown. Bateman finishes with 4 receptions for 66 yards on 5 targets and a touchdown. Those two players showed up. Those two players were reliable in the divisional round. Others were not. And so, look, I have been very quick, which I think is there's been nothing personal about it. I just think, realistically, I've been very quick to critique Rashad Bateman for various things over his time in Baltimore. His postseason resume, there's not a whole lot to critique. He showed up, and that's why it's a bummer. I'm saying this. Look, it's a bummer. Yes, it's a disappointment because this season's been lost for him, but it's a bummer for the Ravens. They're worse off without Bateman coming up. And you could say, look, the amount of people that are in here saying he's just running cardio this year, this, that, and the other. Look, I get it. No. It's been really disappointing. He has been a non-factor for them. But you want him out there. You want him out there coming up tomorrow night in Pittsburgh. He can show up whenever. And the fact that he won't be there, he will not be at Lamar's disposal. The Ravens are worse for it.
Yeah, they are. They are. And long term, I mean, the people that have to step up is like a Zay Flowers. And can he turn that corner in a clutch moment? I mean, he showed it one time in the Rams game and that game-winning touchdown. But outside of that, I really think about what has Zay done in a clutch moment. It's very rare to think of any clutch moment that Zay has done outside of that Rams game. I believe that was 2023 or 2024. That was just about it. That's the only thing I could think of in the back of my head. And other than that, it's always been a fumble. It's always been a fumble. And it's always been a fumble. And
so remember, Zay did not play. Remember, Zay did not play in the postseason last year because he was hurt. Right, so that's a bummer for him. Like when you try to evaluate Zay's postseason resume, it's hard because he didn't play last year. And then if you go back, I'd have to go back and look. To be quite honest with you, I'd have to go back and look at the divisional round against Houston, his rookie year. But we all remember what happened in the AFC Championship game, and for right, for wrong, he will be remembered for what he didn't do in the AFC Championship game. Yeah. But remember, one of the reasons why Bateman had the opportunity to show up last year in the postseason as he did was because they were without Zay. And let's not forget who they were with in a do-or-die drive where Lamar led him basically damn near the entire length of the field to give them a chance. Anthony Miller was out there with them. Okay? And that's no disrespect to the vet. He's been doing this a long time. But that's what they were dealing with last year.
Yeah. He came in clutch. I mean, on the other end, real quick, I know we're talking offense, we're talking Bateman, but briefly, I think I reminded you a couple weeks back. Somebody was going to have a breakout game, and he did. I think he's going to do it again this week. In Trenton Simpson. I was pretty proud of counting that one out. I was pretty.
Hey, just so we're being thorough, first and foremost, I'm not trying to dodge that at all. Zay, in a game where they ran for over 200 yards in the divisional round against Houston. Okay, this was the year they went to the AFC Championship.
Yes.
Zay had 4 receptions for 41 yards on 5 targets.
Correct.
That led the team that day. But again, Lamar had 100 yards rushing that day. Justice had 60+. Gus Edwards was still with the team that year. He had 40. And Dalvin Cook in garbage time had 23. So again, when you evaluate the Zay Flowers, clutchness, if you will, or postseason resume, to me, there's still a lot to be determined based on sample size, based on nuance, like being unavailable. And he's going to get a chance, if they win tomorrow night, to showcase what he can be versus what he hasn't been, obviously, which was only his rookie year in Baltimore. Now, as for Trenton, Mr. Trenton, sometime third time's the charm, Trey. And so far, so good for Trenton. I thought that his open field tackle on 3rd and goal of Malik Willis out in the middle of nowhere. He was in no man's land. I thought that was exceptional. I don't know if Teddy Buchanan makes that play, and that's no disrespect to Teddy. He's a different athlete. He is less cerebral. He's more cerebral, right? Less athletic than Trenton. Trenton is more athletic, less cerebral than Teddy. I don't mean to pit these guys up against one another. It was an exceptional play for Trenton. Good for him, man. They need him going forward because you know how this Steelers offense is going to run. They're not going to test you vertically. And if they do, God help us all trying to evaluate the Ravens secondary if they get attacked vertically. What I think is going to happen, they are going to attack the underneath stuff and the middle part of the field. And who's going to be waiting there with a chance to show that this third time ain't no fluke is number 32.
It has to be 32.
Yep. I'm glad you brought it up. As you take your little mini victory lap on me, Trey, huh? Is that what you're doing?
Try to be as light as possible about it. I was just like, I guarantee a breakout game, and then I'm like, I'm gonna double stamp on it for this week because it's got to be a gotta have it game. And the main thing is they have no receivers, and we know that. Adam Thielen at 38 or 36, or I don't know how old Adam Thielen is. I mean, that's their main guy. And then outside of MVS, I mean, MVS is MVS. we know what you're getting out of him in Pittsburgh, but it's just Aaron Rodgers trusts the people, and he's going to realize Gainwell's his guy after that. I mean, that's going to be his guy. It's going to be his dump off.
Rodgers said it himself. He's playing with a bunch of cast-offs. Now, he wouldn't go as far as to call himself that, even though I think you can categorize him as that at this point in his career. But I think you're right. Whether it's Freiermuth across the middle, whether it's the dump-offs in the flats or in the screen game or simple checkdowns to Gainwell and or Warren, that's how they're going to go. That's how the Steelers' offense is going to go inside the 20s and then outside the 20s, I should say. And then when you get inside the 20, it's just about limiting them to field goals. And I think they have the manpower to do it. They've bent and not broken often this season. I think they're capable of doing that again tomorrow night. But again, I do not trust this Ravens defense over a quarter period. So this will be up to Lamar in a lot of ways to put points up on the board to kind of compensate for that margin for error that's going to be there given the defense's struggles.
I agree. So, yeah, that was about it. And then I was going to say Lamar's going to run tomorrow. It's too much confidence coming from Lamar. I feel like he's going to run tomorrow.
I'll believe it when I see it. That's a rich prediction. You can gladly take every victory lap you want next week if that's the case. I'll believe it when I see it, brother.
I'll see you, man.
Trey, but here's the last thing on that. We legitimately have not seen him run since Buffalo. Now, I know he's had a couple nice little quick bursts. I know he's had a couple, decisive, and a couple of them have been quarterback design runs prior to the New England back injury, right? And you started to see the upward trajectory of his mobility, his willingness, right? Some of that speed, that burst. But I still see a player that is not laboring, but is clearly unrecognizable in terms of who we know and the gears that we know that Lamar possesses. I think in his heart of hearts, he knows that he doesn't have those at his disposal right now, and it's been hard to watch.
I feel like honestly, Bobby, I think he does have it in his arsenal, but he's scared to use there's a difference between having it and then wanting to do it, and then having it and then risk that I might pull something. Or he has that second thought in the back of his head that, because you can see that he's like jogging, and it's not like it's impossible for him to run. It's like he's jogging, and then he's like, nah, let me just run out of bounds. I'm not going to do a juke move. And it's kind of like the only moment that I've ever seen, honestly, to be completely honest with you, the only time I've ever seen Lamar fully sprint in one game, in a meaningful game, I could bring this up, and I think you'll agree with me. Tennessee Titans game in Tennessee, when he scored that touchdown for 52 yards, that was the hardest I've ever seen Lamar run, ever. I think that's just straight up, because that was him going all out speed, and he beat the guy to the pylon. And that was about the only time I've actually seen Lamar fully just sprint.
I would counter with one play. That comes to mind, and it's He Is Houdini 2019 against Cincy. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous. I mean, I was there. You remember? I was there.
Oh,
I'm in Cincinnati. Yeah.
Now I'm with you. Was that straight line the entire way? A lot of it was elusiveness. You had a lot of the agility, the lateral quickness, the east to west stuff on full display, and especially obviously one of the all-time. I mean, come on, like the spin cycle that he put a few of those guys in was generational. But I would counter with that. But I'm with you. I think Tennessee. I'd have a hard time finding like. I would count on one hand how many other times. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to pull out all the times, because you know what Lamar says after any press conference. I was jogging. I mean, that's just fine. Like, I was jogging. So, I mean, we get it. We get you were jogging, but when are you going to sprint? And then I think about that game, it meant something to him because of 2019, him losing in 2019. He took advantage of that, and then he thought about that loss that same season in that postseason in Tennessee. So he lost in Baltimore, and then they, stomped on the field. I mean, whatever, and told Harbaugh that whole season got to him. So, I mean, he's like, yeah, forget it. We're off. He just kind of had a little mean streak to him, even though he didn't have the greatest performance. But running wise, that was the hardest I've ever seen Lamar run. I mean, you can look back at that highlight of that run and then look at all the other highlights of him running. I've literally kind of looked at highlights of all of his hardest runs. There's nothing that beats that run. So
one thing you love about Lamar is how tight-lipped he is, how mysterious he is with his God-gifted ability. He's always been that way. He's like that in his private life. He's like that in front of the media. You got to love it. It adds to the Lamar Jackson legend, as you do, my friend. It's great to see you. Happy New Year, and have fun tonight, whatever you're up to.
Oh, date night. Hey, just like you. I mean, are you doing that tonight, or you having a date night tonight, or?
We'll see. No, I'm chilling tonight. I'm going to meet up with some guys, I think, and watch the second game. And the fourth quarter, which is coming up here. Tampa's got a 9-point lead. Carolina has the ball at the start of the fourth. Ooh, big gain here. Is that Dowdle? There go the Panthers. So, yeah, it's going to be a good game. But
outside of my phone.
Enjoy date night, brother. Thanks for the call.
Hey, we're 32 and single. Hey, we've been doing it, no kids. It's a great life.
You already know it. Let's go. Not many can relate to us on that front. Appreciate you, Trey.
That's rare. I'll see you.
I love it. Over 1,000 concurrents on a Saturday evening. ZipRecruiter is our newest channel sponsor. After I get this read in and tell you about them, we're going to get back to the guest lines. I want to get your thoughts on today's breaking news, surprising news at that Rashad Bateman has been ruled out ahead of tomorrow night's game in Pittsburgh with an illness. He did not travel with the team to Acrisure, and as a result, the Ravens will be without number 7 in a do-or-die game coming up tomorrow night on Sunday Night Football. If you're hiring for your company, it's a busy time of year for you because you've got new 2026 goals, and that always comes with finding the right people to accomplish them. Of course, you've got new hiring challenges for the 2026 year as well, like filling specialized roles or identifying qualified candidates from a huge pool of applicants. Lucky for you, there's a place you can go to help you conquer these challenges and achieve your hiring goals, and that's ZipRecruiter. Right now, you can try it for free by visiting ziprecruiter.com/audio. You can find that information in the show notes below. We have it directly linked for you. Let ZipRecruiter help you find the best people for all of your roles. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And you can see for yourself and try it for free today. That's ziprecruiter.com/audio. It's the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter.com/audio. I appreciate them for the continued support of both the Vault and here inside the Bobby Baltimore channel, where, again, we have over 1,000 concurrents and counting. One super chat so far tonight. J27M writes, Steel Curtain, Berlin Wall, Great Wall, Ravens by 7. Hell of a prediction. I am on record for predicting the Ravens to be victorious as well tomorrow night. 24-21 is my thought in a game where I don't think it's going to be dominated on the ground. 7 of the last 14 meetings, however, the Ravens have rushed for over 200 yards. 9 of the last 12 meetings have been won by Pittsburgh. So utter domination on the ground doesn't always equate to victories for the Ravens. What last year equated to in the wild card round was sending the Steelers into an offseason of really team building and an adjustment, if you will, to team building, something that Mike Tomlin spoke about earlier this season.
You talk openly about building your team in the offseason to deal with the AFC North a lot of times. How did what happened at the end of last season in Baltimore impact the way you went about constructing this team this year?
You know, the acquisition of Biggs, you know, you saw our emphasis in the draft around big people, fortifying our depth in that area. And certainly it's been required. We've certainly had some attrition in that area. Dean Lowry, Loudermilk, and Derek Harmon has missed a couple of stretches. And so that depth with young people like YA and O and others, man, is significant. You can't run out of bigs. If you run out of bigs in AFC North ball, you're running on the beach, certainly.
That was from earlier this season when asked about, again, what the Ravens did to the Steelers in the wild card round game last year, which was 299 rushing yards. That's what they hung on them and send them into an offseason of uncertainty, perhaps, or at least a state of change when it came to team building. And that had to have been on the forefront of their mind in the first round on opening night of the NFL draft last April when they decided to go after Derek Harmon. And as you see here, the numbers that Chris Carter notes on Twitter are telling. Yes, he's missed time this year, which inflates these numbers perhaps a little bit, or in some cases, depending on how you look at it, deflates these numbers. But I think this is pretty compelling and a trend that I'm going to be very interested to watch unfold coming up on Sunday night. Because while Big Derek Harmon has been exceptional against the run for Pittsburgh, he has yet to see the king, the other Derek on Baltimore's side of things, who's going to be coming in pissed off, and I'm sure will get north of 25 carries. If he doesn't, we'll have that conversation on Monday morning. Don't you worry about that. 4.56 rushing yards per play when Derek Harmon isn't on the field this year. And when he is, that number is 3.54. That marks a change, as Chris notes here, from 25th in that category to first. Derek has been a key cog in the middle part of this Steelers defense, but I will continue to reiterate, the Ravens have their own key cog in the backfield of Baltimore's offense, and it's King Henry, who's still at soon to be 32 years young, is not only in the top 5 of rushing leaders this year, but he has creeped his way into top 3 territory with 1,469 rushing yards. And look at what he did in the month of December. Feed this man until the game plan, until the Steelers dictate you do otherwise. Feed him early, feed him often, and then allow the passing attack to be brought outside of that as a compliment. Now, obviously, you have to earn the right. The Steelers will stack the box. They will sell out and do whatever's possible to not get gashed the way they did a year ago in the wild card game. And as Todd Monken spoke about earlier this week during his press conference, once you get your ground game going, and once you test your vertical passing attack, this entire combustible engine that is the Ravens offense, when they're firing on all cylinders, has the chance to hang points up and hang points in a hurry. To the guest lines we go. Maurice is Saturday night chilling. We got NFC football on right now between the Bucs and Panthers. I'm watching that in the distance, right up the road from where I am right now on a soggy Saturday in Tampa. Baker converts. Was that to Godwin? I can barely see the TV in the distance. Is that Chris Godwin? I can't tell. Didn't look like it, but man, I feel bad for Chris Godwin. Remember when he went down with that significant injury against the Ravens last year? He really hasn't been the same since. And the Bucs have been limping into the postseason. What are they, 1-7 in their last 8 games? Anyway, we'll keep on task here. Welcome Maurice to the program. Get his thoughts on Rashad Bateman. I see EB down in the waiting room. You know what that means. It's cloud time. We'll get to the clouds in just a bit. But first, Maurice, Happy New Year to your brother. Look at you, Mr. Hawaiian. What's going on tonight?
Hey, Bobby, Happy New Year, and thanks for having me. So, my thoughts on Rashad Bateman being ruled out with the illness. Truth be told, it is a shame. It is simply a shame that he won't be able to go coming up in this game against Pittsburgh, and it is also unfortunate that ever since Rashad Bateman came into the pros, he's had his fair share of, injuries here and there. It's like you can go back to his rookie season, for example. He started the 2021 season on injured reserve because of that groin surgery. And then the second major injury he sustained was, I believe it was in the second half against Tampa Bay the following year. He got injured in the second half. That's when he went down with a foot injury. So the question that's been circling around my mind is who's going to be replacing Rashad Bateman going into this game? It can be anybody. Could it be Tyler Wallace, perhaps? Could it be Devontae Walker? I mean, it could be either of those guys. But back to Rashad Bateman, it's coming out of college, it's like he has like a ton of potential, and there's a reason why he was drafted in the first round. It's like if you look at his college highlights back in Minnesota, he has always been the go-to guy for at the time Tanner Morgan was Minnesota's quarterback. So who the hell is Tanner Morgan? I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, he was the go-to guy in college in Minnesota. There was a reason why he was drafted in the first round, because he's just one of those guys that Eric DeCosta spotted and that he's had a ton of potential. So we all feel for him. And whenever you call his number, it's like he shows up where you need him the most. That includes the postseason. But one's got to wonder how much different would have been had he not sustained these injuries, the season-ending injuries, and starting off on injured reserve his rookie year. It's like I can't help but wonder how different would have been then. But
well, you know what? Remember, it is important to remember that, it was if I'm remembering this correctly for Rashad, initially it was a groin that set him back during training camp his rookie year, right? So that gets that all of a sudden derails the beginning of his rookie year. And then from there into his sophomore season, second year, if you will, it was the Liz Frank. And that's what lingers, right? That's the foot. That's the really difficult maneuvering that you have to get around to get yourself fully healthy, to get yourself the ability to plant and move laterally and do all the things like accelerate and burst and all these things that are required for pass catchers in this league to get that separation and ultimately work your way around an NFL field. And then God, he's dealt with, I just have his injury history right in front of me right now. He's dealt with hamstring issues. This year it's the high ankle sprain, but earlier on in his career, it was the groin in year one, summer of year one, and the Liz Frank in year two that really put him behind the eight ball.
Yeah, and if memory serves correctly, like during Rashad Bateman's time in college at Minnesota, he was never known to have an injury history. And, that's one thing that scares some of us as fans is like with these players coming into the pros, it's like they didn't have an injury history until like after they begin their career. And some of these injuries can be season altering or worse, career altering. And, I certainly don't want that to be the case with not just any of our players, but any player in general, because, with these injuries, whether if it's like lingering Achilles injuries, ACL injuries, whatever the case may be, it's just injuries of any kind. It is not a laughing matter. Like, given that football is a physical sport after all. So, just not having Rashad Bateman on the field, that's always going to be a difficult pill to swallow. And also, I would like to discuss the divisional round last season against Buffalo. I can't stress this enough when I say that divisional round last season, that's one of those games that we had absolutely no business losing, because looking at the game statistics, it's like we had just about everything going our way from, total yards. We had 416 total yards in that game. And the only thing that killed us were the penalties and the 3 turnovers that we committed in that game. So that is exactly why it is always important to preach 2 hands on a football. So you're not going to win every game unless you prioritize protecting the football. And that's something that's always came back to bite us over the last few years. It's like we've seen these time and time again. It's just once you fumble the ball multiple times, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a difficult time trying to crawl out of that hole.
Maurice,
this has always been
brother. Enjoy the rest of your night, man. We'll catch up with you tomorrow on a pregame show, I'm sure. Buckle up, baby. It's going to be a long, long way to Sunday night. The last game of the Week 18 slate is Ravens-Steelers. And to be clear, as we talk about the injury history of Rashad Bateman, this is not injury related. At least that's not what the team is saying coming up tomorrow night as in terms of why he did not travel with the team. He is down with an illness. It was serious enough to not only rule him out, downgrade him to out from questionable to out, but he did not travel with the team to Pittsburgh. So Rashad Bateman in this do or die game will not be available for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson will, though, and there is no game designation for him. He's good to go. 3 straight days of practice. Todd Monken talked about it this week.
This is we've been in a long time, or he's going to be full go all week. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, I don't even know when we maybe go all back to Miami, maybe even then, and that was a short week. That wasn't even, maybe Minnesota. I mean, it's been that long ago where, we get Lamar in a full week of practice and timing with the receivers and our communication. And you can actually see that with Tyler. I mean, it actually has benefited Tyler. I mean, what backup quarterback has gotten as many reps as he's gotten? And it's allowed him to function at a high level. That doesn't, really tell you that practice matters and the reps and your timing and your team's confidence around you. I don't know what does. So we're excited. Not like having your quarterback out there every day.
You people are funny in the live chat. I go to the 60-second timer, get accosted for it. I cut somebody off smoothly and politely after multiple minutes, and I get accosted. You really can't win around these parts, folks. Can ya? The rest of the Ravens injury report is as you see listed on the screen. Rashad Bateman downgraded to out. He did not travel to Pittsburgh, as we've already mentioned several times tonight. Taven Bryan, not coming off injury reserve. He's been dealing with a knee for several weeks, if not months now. He was a full participant Thursday and Friday, a veteran who was good against the run earlier this year, but he won't play tomorrow night. DeAndre Hopkins rested a little bit towards the beginning of the week. He was a full go on Friday. He will be a full go coming up tomorrow night, and perhaps several targets are due to come his way, knowing that Bateman is down. Marlon Humphrey, questionable with an illness. He's going to play. Lamar, playing. Charlie Kohler, Ricard, Roquan, you name it. The rest of this group right here, I'm sure dealing with some nicks and bruises and minor setbacks, will all play. As far as Pittsburgh is concerned, the Steelers are very healthy. Yes, Tisha, I'm looking directly at you, right into your eyes, what I said a minute ago in terms of getting accosted. I'm looking right at you, Tisha. That's right. How about the Pittsburgh side of things? The Steelers are very healthy. Very healthy. And that includes TJ Watt, who had a partially collapsed lung just several weeks ago that required a minor procedure. He will play. Of course he's going to play. It's TJ Watt, and the Ravens got to be ready for their all-world edge rusher that Pittsburgh has in store. The rest of this group, again, will play, including James Pierre. He picked off Lamar the first time these two teams met in Week 14. He is Lamar's blood cousin. Calvin Austin III, you'd figure, is going to be a target of Aaron Rodgers with no DK Metcalf. He will play, as will the rest of this list right here, including former Raven Malik Harrison, who's dealing with a knee. He was a full participant on Friday. So no team is fully healthy at this point in the season, but the Steelers are pretty darn near close to it. And the Ravens, no Nnamdi Madubuike. It's hard to ever truly feel good about their overall health. But all things considered, they're looking pretty good. And they are going to need their all-pro, do-it-all defender to be special and bring it from all different angles. That's Kyle Hamilton. It's somebody that Aaron Rodgers is very aware of. He will be aware of him on every single snap coming up tomorrow night. And several weeks ago, he was very complimentary of number 14.
Week how good Derwin was playing, and I'd say the same thing about Kyle. I mean, Kyle is the guy that, like I said about Derwin, he plays safety and base. He plays nickel and big nickel. He plays linebacker and dime. You know, that's a multifaceted, multi-talented Swiss Army knife who can do it all. So he's the guy you got to make sure you know where he's at all times. Roquan, I played against in the other NFC, the other Northern Division. Had a ton of respect for him since our days going at it, Packers, Bears. He's an elite player for a long time. Kind of gets them going. But they got a lot of, good, younger guys and older guys. They traded for Gilman, who's been playing good. They drafted the young kid from Starks from Georgia, who I love watching play in college, and he's done a really nice job. And I think that acquisition of Gilman allows Kyle to play, down out of center field a lot more, which that seemed to have been a strength for them.
Aaron Rodgers last month talking about Kyle Hamilton. Joey Porter Jr., he got a fair share of his dose of this rivalry. Joey Sr., his father played in it 4 years, was certainly a character within this storied rivalry back in the day, the old school days. Joey Porter Jr. perhaps doing his part to kind of bring back some of that bad blood. I know there'll always be bad blood, but I think it's lacked that extra punch in recent years with maybe not as it's not as personality driven with some of the all-time greats on both sides of the football as it was earlier in this rivalry in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. But Joey Porter Jr., who's turned into pretty talented cornerback for Pittsburgh, did his part perhaps to give the Ravens a little bit of bulletin board material during a media scrum earlier this week.
Be alert about how the Ravens try to use that against you to pop up when their option runs.
It'd be technically sound. That's the main thing we've been working on this whole week, of just seeing our keys, reading the high hat, low hat, and just reacting and fitting. And if we do that, then it's going to be an easy ball game for us.
When did your competitiveness with the Ravens begin?
Probably since I was little, probably whenever my dad had that rivalry, I never really liked those guys. It's either Steelers or nobody, how I look at it. And if you're on the opposite side, then obviously we can't be on the same side. So I feel like I always had that rivalry with them, and now I have my own rivalry and my own beef and vendetta versus them that we got sorted out. So it's a good thing that I get to be a part of.
Building off of that, how fitting is it that this winner go home game is against these guys?
I mean, I feel like everybody wanted that. I mean, we're mad about what happened last week, obviously, but it's the new year, so Ravens versus Steelers at home for the hats and shirts. Who wouldn't want that? This is an entertainment type league, and that's entertaining. So I'm going to be excited for it. Everybody in here is excited for it, so we're ready for it.
All right, third-year player out of Penn State, Joey Porter Jr., doing what he does, talking a little bit of ish. He was asked about going up against this Ravens rushing attack, and you heard the man, quote, just be technically sound, seeing our keys, reading that high, low hat, and just reacting and fitting. If we do that, it's going to be an easy ball game for us. Certainly was not easy going up against this Ravens rushing attack in a couple games last year. The regular season finale, not week 18, but the second of the two regular season matchups went the Ravens' way. They hung a bunch of rushing yards on them. And then, of course, we all remember what happened in the wild card game. The Steelers had no answers early and often for Derek, for Lamar, and the rest of this Ravens rushing attack. So we'll see who shows up, which Ravens offense shows up, which Steelers defense shows up on Sunday night. But you can already look, it's Ravens Steelers, man. One thing that you can always be sure of, I think, even though it was not the case in the wild card game last year, this thing's going to be decided by a touchdown or less. I'm going 24-21 Ravens. I mentioned that earlier on in the show, mentioned it on the vault. Pittsburgh leads the all-time series 37-27. And this will be the first week 18 winner-take-all game moment in this storied rivalry's history, which is hard to believe, but that is the case. Wes Hall hits me with a super chat and writes, the flu this year was no joke. Never felt so bad in my life when I got it earlier this year. Hopefully he'll get a chance to go next week as far as Rashad Bateman's concerned. And Wes, I co-signed that. I was down for 10 days. That thing kicked me in the ass. And whatever the hell I had, the Buffalo Plague, as I labeled it as, coming back from the Bills game last year, man, that thing, that was 2 weeks for me. 2 weeks down. I'm talking, like, I felt like it was borderline pneumonia. So it's nothing to joke about. And obviously, in all seriousness, we do wish Rashad Bateman well. He did not travel to Pittsburgh with the team today. And as a result, won't suit up for the Ravens tomorrow night in Pittsburgh. And David, this is not a super chat, but I can't believe you went ahead and did this. You know better than this, David. David writes, crazy how formidable Bobby is presenting the Steelers as being hysterical. David, as my Spanish teacher used to call one of my best friends in high school, David, don't do this, David. Don't lose sight. Do not overlook the opponent. As Brian Billick said, respect a good opponent. Fuck the Titans. That was an all-time video, by the way. Look, statistically speaking, this offense has been a middle of the road, if not less than that, right? They have been, at times this year, woeful on offense in Pittsburgh. And with no DK Metcalf, nobody is denying it, David, that it's a night and day offense. They do not attack you vertically. It's dink and dunk. I mean, these passes barely go beyond the line of scrimmage at times with no DK Metcalf. And again, he will serve the second of a 2-game suspension for that incident with a fan in Detroit. Nobody is not, I'm not denying any of that. What I refuse to ignore is this. Mike Tomlin, historically speaking, against the Ravens as an underdog, has an outright record of 7-1. Against the spread, 7-1. He's a 3-point home underdog. Both teams have everything to play for. Aaron Rodgers has nothing to lose at 42, and we have seen stranger things happen when it comes to Ravens Steelers. Mike Tomlin has won 9 of the last 12 games against John Harbaugh. 7 of the last 14, the Ravens have put up over 200 rushing yards. Just because they've dominated the ground game more often than not has not always led to victories. And so while I'm picking the Ravens, I'm not going to sit here and be naive to tell you and act as if this game isn't going to be close. This game isn't going to come down to the fourth quarter. This game isn't going to be nitty gritty and have that nuance and fluky nature to it when it comes to AFC North football, razor thin margin for error. And oh, by the way, the Ravens haven't exactly shown up throughout the Lamar era in the postseason. I know this isn't the postseason, but it sure damn feels like it when it comes to these high leverage situations from a ball security standpoint and an overall execution standpoint. So that's the reality of it. They are a formidable group because they change. Everything needs to be thrown out when it's Ravens Steelers. What you're seeing on screen right here kind of pedestrian-like offensive numbers, throw it out because it doesn't matter. It's Ravens Steelers for all the marbles. Who's going to make that one special teams play? Who's going to create that takeaway in a gotta-have-it, momentum-shifting moment in the fourth quarter? Who's going to be more stout and stand taller in the red zone, defensively speaking? And ultimately, whose quarterback will have that opportunity in the fourth quarter to close the door? That's where I'm at. David. Oh, David. David. EB, are you with us? Are you with us? Paging EB in the waiting room. Let's see what EB's doing tonight. Let's see where EB's at. Welcome back to the program, my good friend, EB, Mr. Nimbus. What's going on, brother?
What? Can you hear me, Bobby?
What the hell are you doing out there?
I'm currently behind the wheel, but hold on, give me 1 second.
You're currently behind the wheel?
Yep. All right, I'm here. Here we go.
What you doing, EB?
Well, I just got off the clock. I'm on the way back to the warehouse or whatnot, but I'm doing pretty good, Bobby. I'm all right. Pretty much
it's Saturday night. Before you give us your analysis, just because it's a Saturday night and I can't help myself, here's what Google AI Overview has here on the different levels of clouds. So high-level clouds begin at 20,000 feet. Mid-level clouds range from 6,500 to 20,000 feet. Low-level clouds are 6,500 feet and below. Okay. And vertical clouds span multiple levels, including cumulus and cumulonimbus. So when you take a look at this full array of cloud level options, can you please let us know where you were at on Sunday? Because I think we'd all strive to be there one day.
I was well above the clouds, Bobby. I was well over 6,500 feet. Well over.
You were in a different stratosphere. Thank you, goodness. That is absolutely fantastic. As we all go back to high school. Yes, we're all back at high school on a Saturday night, getting ready for this winner-take-all game. They will not have Rashad Bateman, EB. That's what tonight's live stream is about. Your thoughts on Bate being down and not traveling to Pittsburgh?
I'm not too worried. Especially considering the fact that I feel as though we're gonna win this game, so we are gonna have Bate for the playoffs. Now, what I don't like is I heard you say that there was some practice squad call-ups, which I don't understand as to why we need any old reservative vets when you have Tez Walker. You have D-Hop, Tez Walker, and I'm not a fan of the man, but he does show up in clutch moments, and it's Tylan Wallace. Bateman is out. You need to give more touches to D-Hop. The man is not in his prime anymore. This ain't Houston, a little bit of Cardinals D-Hop, Bobby. We have a early going into his mid-30s receiver. Yes, he's still catching them 50-50 balls, but the speed is not really there anymore. And that is what Tez is for. Now, this is not the first, this is not even the second game that Bateman has been out. And for us, the passing game, Tez has not gotten any targets. And I'm not understanding that. Not him nor D-Hop for that matter. It's all been Zay. I'm going to say Zay and Mark Andrews.
I got news for you. It's going to be another game with Devontae Walker not directly involved in the passing attack. And if that's not the case, I'll gladly, walk myself back on that. I thought he had a great block on one of Derrick Henry's 4 rushing touchdowns the other night in Green Bay, and he's always reliable.
Oh, yeah.
I've been saying it for years now. I've been saying it all year long, 2025 year, that is, that Devontae, it's 2026 for Devontae. It's year 3 for Tez, where he'll have a legitimate chance to be an element and a component as an every Sunday type guy, 5 to 10 targets within the confines of this offense. But that time is not today. This is why you brought in DeAndre Hopkins. Moments like these that present the Ravens an opportunity at a clean slate. A complete clean slate opportunity is at their fingertips. I think DeAndre should get at least 3 to 5 targets coming up tomorrow night. And from there, look, the Tylan Wallace conversation can be had. Manny's somewhere shaking in his boots knowing that his bet is sunk. I'm on the right end of that one, as I knew I would be. I look forward to that handshake with him and bringing his ass to Houston. He's got his lover in Houston. I don't know what the hell is going on in Mexico City, but something's going on in Houston. And I look forward to meeting him there so he can take me out and cover my bar tab for that Tylan Wallace preseason bet that we had out on the table. But that's neither here nor there. Look, bottom line is, EB, bottom line is this is going to be a game where they're going to try and run it down Pittsburgh's throat. I don't believe Lamar will drop back more than 20 times, and they're going to try to win this thing on the ground. And after that, it's going to be about converting on 2 third down situations, using Zay Flowers to attack them vertically, using Mark Andrews across the middle, and ultimately taking care of the football so that we're not spending Monday dissecting every
No. This need to be an Isaiah Likely game. This need to be a likely game.
It ain't going to be a likely game. No way.
No way.
You want to know why?
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Listen, the Steelers have played Andrews very well over the years. I'm not discounting that. Likely's on his way out, man. He is on his way out.
All right.
I wish him well, and I hope he gets paid handsomely. He's still out there blocking his ass off. Andrews is tight end 1. I'm not saying by ability Likely couldn't be in Baltimore, but Andrews is tight end 1.
Okay. All right, Bobby.
What do you want? You disagree with that?
I don't have a problem with it. It's just I'm not seeing the clutch factor from Andrews. Matter of fact, I'm appalled. And if I'm not mistaken, I think a game or two prior to the Patriots game, he was given a fucking extension. What the hell type of performance that was in New England? That's what I'm just saying. Like, I want Andrews. I actually want both Andrews and Likely here, but it's time. At this point, it's time to pass the damn torch to Likely. Likely has the clutch factor. He's younger. And it's just his time. Now,
Isaiah's been good in the postseason. It's a small sample size, but you're right. Isaiah's been good in the postseason. He and Rashad Bateman were the top 2 pass catchers, respectively, in the divisional round in Buffalo last year, like we talked about earlier on in the stream with Trey from Columbus. They both showed up. And so, look, and Shelley's right. Maybe tomorrow is Likely's moment. But to me, this clearly, Zay Flowers is Lamar's top target. And clearly, Mark Andrews continues to be whichever quarterback's playing, security blanket, whether that be across the middle, whether that be in checkdowns, you name it. And I think that'll continue to be the case. So, again, that's not—
You're predicting—
these guys that haven't been involved with the football directly, it's not to say they're not busting their ass. Likely's been busting his ass this year as a blocker. Devontae Walker, like I just complimented him about, and we talked about with Coach Evans on Tuesday in our film study on the vault, he sprung Derrick Henry open on one of those rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
So these guys are working their asses off, and unfortunately for their sake, they don't have a lot of return on their investment in terms of what they're getting paid off as, but that's just kind of the state of where the Ravens offense has been for weeks, if not months.
You predicting a 3 to 5 target share for D-Hop. Now I'm going to predict a 2 to 3 target share for Walker.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Just a good 2 to 3.
EB.
Yes.
What the hell?
Listen, he's number 4 on our depth chart for a reason. We drafted him in the 4th round for a reason. I'm standing 10 toes on this, and I'm putting my best foot forward on this, Bobby. As a matter of fact, I hope my boy King Judah is in this chat, because I'm pretty sure he agrees everything I'm saying about Walker. You need to get that boy I'm just saying, the boy needs some more touches. We did not draft him in the 4th round running a fucking 4.3 I'm just saying, going stride, damn near stride for stride with Wiggins. We did not draft him for nothing.
I'm going to tell you
I'm
something
just
about
saying.
the boy right now. And as I say the boy, I'll get canceled by the mob with the pitchforks. But I'm going to tell you something about the boy right now. He's got 6 total targets this year, EB, and you want 3 in one game in a high leverage moment for Tez?
Yes, he's young.
Not.
He's young. He has no film on him, and he's fast as hell. Yes, absolutely. Why not?
If he's fast
Hey,
as
I
hell,
may
that makes
be.
you crazy as hell up in the stratosphere.
Hey, I'm not up there yet, but I will be later on tonight. But
I know that. And this is no disrespect to Tez. Again, this is no disrespect to Devontae Walker whatsoever. I think he will be a late bloomer for them, and he's shown flashes of why I feel confident in that. And to your point, the 4.36 or whatever it is, 40 speed is one of the main reasons as to why that's the case. But he is still a year away from that. And in week 18 against the Steelers, if he receives 3 or more targets, color me shocked. I look forward to revisiting this next week, and I will be happy to be wrong. I think he's on the outside looking in terms of the game plan coming up tomorrow night.
And if that's the case, Bobby, I guarantee he brings in maybe one touchdown. Maybe one touchdown. Well, all right. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Brother.
All right.
Appreciate you, brother. We will revisit this as we always do. And good luck on your way up north.
Definitely. Appreciate it, Bobby.
I'm talking about up north, big fella. One more call because Julian's posted up in the waiting room. We'll see what he's up to. But first, this episode is brought to you by my friends at Preston Automotive Group. I want to say thank you and a continued thank you to my longest standing sponsor here inside the channel. These guys have been supporting me for years, and I hope that you will support yourself if you're in the market for a newer pre-owned vehicle in 2026. Because at any Preston area dealership, at any Preston location, Bobby Baltimore subscribers receive a couple exclusive offers. One is $500 towards a newer pre-owned vehicle, and the available inventory section can be found here. The direct link, PrestonMotor.com, is in the show notes. If you want to go check it out, spend part of your Saturday night seeing what they have to offer. Right now, 3,940 is their count of available inventory vehicles, and they can all be broken down, not breaking, by make, model, keyword. That's how you can divvy up your search process. If you want to go deeper, price, vehicle condition, year, make, location, dealership, they're all throughout the DMV, a heavy presence on the Eastern Shore. So that's number one, $500 towards a New York pre-owned vehicle. Or two, when you buy 4 tires, you'll get 50% off your alignment. So again, I want to say thank you to Preston Automotive Group for continuing to power this channel. You can scan the QR code that you see in the upper right-hand corner. If you want to learn more, it'll take you directly to this landing page that you are seeing, or just toggle your way on over to the show notes where I have things directly linked. Thanks to them, and thanks to all of you guys for being with me tonight. One final call from Julian. He gets the final call on Rashad Bateman and the final thought going into this winner go home moment on Sunday night, coming up on 24 hours out from Ravens Steelers for all the goddamn marbles. Jewel, good to see you, brother. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year again for a third day, Bobby.
I'm gonna keep saying that until next week, until people look at me crazy.
Yeah, you're right. I almost missed you because I just found out you was online. I was like, oh, let me get him real quick because I was watching the game. And
It's coming down to the wire here too. Oh shit, I didn't even look up. It is. Oh my goodness. The Panthers got a Hail Mary here. 3 seconds left. 16-14. Yeah, it looks like a Hail Mary's coming here from Bryce Young. So anyway, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Oh, I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Here come the Panthers. They're going to try a little bit of trickery here. Mm-hmm. And let's see if they can pull off the unthinkable, a bunch of laterals, and it's over. Tampa Bay survives, and now they need some help from Atlanta, I believe.
Yeah, they need Atlanta to lose, I believe.
Or whoever's playing. Yeah, they need whoever's playing Atlanta, they need help from. So,
yeah.
And then tonight's going to be tonight's going to be something else. Mike Mack, San Francisco. It's going to be a hell of a game tonight. So, you stand between me and the cigar bar. So be concise, my friend. But talk to me. What's on your mind tonight?
All right, I ain't gonna keep you too long. So Bateman, I mean, it's just been that year for Bateman. I don't know, it just never materialized from last year. So I don't know how next year is going to go for him, or whatever the case may be. But just just it just wasn't right for him. I don't know what was it. It just maybe mindset, or just health wise, or just just wasn't it just wasn't clicking for him this year. I
Well,
just didn't
let's
see
be
it.
honest, and I'm the first to kind of get all over Bate in terms of, some of the critiques over the years. But I just want to be clear about this. Tomorrow's lack of availability has nothing to do with the injuries, right? It's an illness. Perhaps it's the flu, and perhaps it's actually really serious, which it's been for a lot of people throughout the country. So you wish the best for him. Hopefully he gets himself right, and hopefully for his sake, gets a chance to play a wild card weekend.
Right.
Showed up really well, I thought, he and Likely, as we've talked about throughout the live stream in the divisional round last year in Buffalo. A bright spot in what was otherwise obviously an ugly loss. Rashad's the high ankle sprain is legit. I mean, that's something that you just don't bounce back from. And when your job really is predicated on separation, and you don't have that ability with a high ankle sprain and the severity of that, that's difficult. When your quarterback is out for a month, I mean, the odds were stacked against a lot of the Ravens offensive players and their pass catchers this year. I'm not making excuses for him at all. It's been extremely disappointing. The third down drop against Pittsburgh the first time around in week 14 was really just like inexplicable from Bateman, and he's been a non-factor this year. With that said, though, I think there's a lot of reasons as to what's led to this perfect storm, and that's snowballed for him. And it was not all that long ago that he was extended, and I think everybody agreed, like, wow, yeah, the Ravens did right by the player. And the player earned the extension. And this year, unfortunately, was a step back. So anyway, those are my thoughts on it. But get back in here.
Yeah. You're right. It just never materialized from last year. We thought the production would carry over, but it didn't. So, I mean, we have the game tomorrow, so we'll see what it does in the playoff game. If not, well, whatever. But and then there's next year as well. So we'll see how far the Ravens go. As far as tomorrow is concerned, I already put my keys to the game. As far as what EB said in the last his last comments, I mean, he said something about Devontae's work. I mean, okay, I get that, but the problem is the receivers have got to get open. And I've noticed, and I've spoke about this, of Lamar's holding on to the football a lot, and just trying to find a way to get I guess he's trying to find somebody open. I know you noticed that a couple times throughout the season, but if that's going to be an issue, whether they're not getting open or whether the defensive coverage is a certain way that he's seeing something, that's going to be an issue. So uh, it all comes down to running the ball, obviously. With Derrick Henry, they're going to definitely pound Derrick Henry in this game. And then, obviously, I said converting third downs on both sides of the ball in the trenches, and that's going to be very key. And then getting pressure on Aaron Rodgers, which they failed to do in that last matchup.
Correct.
So they have to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers by any means necessary, and causing turnovers and protecting the football.
Yep.
That's another key: protecting the football and catching everything that comes their way, because they have you showed the graphic about them dropping like the most passes this year. So
second worst drop rate, 9.2.
Exactly. Second
Somewhere
worst.
around there. Yep.
All those things, if they can correct all those things by tomorrow, they should be able to win. They should definitely be able to win.
Love it, brother. Appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And I see you getting all edged up for Sunday night. We see you. We see you looking real clean over there. Look at him. He knows what's going on.
I had to get cut.
Plans on a Saturday night. I don't know. We won't pry though. Don't worry, because Mike doesn't want to know.
I mean, I don't know. If she's out there, she's out there. I'm not hedging my bets.
All right, Joel. Best wishes, brother. Always.
All right. You too, man.
Absolutely. A couple notes here to finish up with, because this was all about Rashad Bateman today. But George Godsey, tight ends coach, Georgia Tech is bringing him in to be their newest offensive coordinator. So George Godsey's tight ends coach. He is an alum of Georgia Tech, and he's been an assistant for various franchises all throughout the National Football League. And he's done a great job with the tight end room, obviously, one of the deepest in the entire league. and he will be plucked this offseason to go join Georgia Tech as their next play caller on the offensive side of things. So congratulations to George Gotze heading to college. Nick Moore, the Ravens announced another contract extension. It's a 4-year deal for Nick Moore. He's their long snapper. So congratulations to Nick. John Jenkins was yesterday's news at the nose tackle position. Veteran, 36 years old, with no Michael Pierce and obviously Nnamdi Madubuike down. He's been important for them in the middle part of this Ravens defense, and they successfully stopped the run week in and week out, and I don't think tomorrow night will be an exception. So Eric DeCosta has been quietly pretty busy here in the last few weeks, right? Whether it's Mark Andrews, Travis Jones, John Jenkins, or, again, most recently, Nick Moore, he has been getting ahead of some off-season business. So those are my final couple notes for you in terms of things that you should know about going into not tomorrow, not that that's relevant at all, but just in general going into next week. So this will be it until pregame coverage tomorrow, unless something drops prior to the game. There's going to be plenty of football to watch leading up to Sunday Night Football tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. Like the video if you could on the way out. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can become a channel member or gift give membership if you are interested in doing so. Pre-game coverage begins in the 7 o'clock hour tomorrow night, and Sarah and I will be on late night, as always, following primetime football and the press conferences. Once the Ravens post-game press conferences wrap, we'll be live probably around midnight or so, depending on how long the game goes. So for Preston Automotive Group, for ZipRecruiter, my tremendous sponsors, and everyone who called in, everyone who joined me tonight impromptu, spontaneously on a Saturday night, I'm Bobby Trosset signing off. Enjoy the rest of NFL football on a Saturday. I will catch up with you guys